Hi, good morning, everyone who's joining us. We'll just give it a few seconds to let everyone come in. Okay, let's get started. So good morning, everyone. My name is Ariana Miller. I'm the event planner here at the HIA-LI. I want to welcome you to our 32nd annual trade show. I hope you've been walking the floor and checking out all the great exhibitors that we have this year. So thank you for coming to this breakout seminar. We have a really good session for you. The 6 steps to social media referrals and real world sales success. So without further ado, I will introduce the first panelist. We have Adrienne Miller, who is the president of Adrienne Miller Sales Training. Take it away, Adrienne.
Thank you so very much. And I am going to share my screen. Let's see, where are we? And this is just what happened before. Remember? I couldn't share my screen. There we go. Okay. All righty. And 1 second, folks, and we'll put this into the slideshow and we'll be good to go. All right. Sorry for the little delay there. Okay, so Vic and I have spent some time thinking about how we can prepare this session and attacking this whole sales, business development, social media, video world that we all exist in right now, and have it dovetail in pure synchronicity. So we're going to go through this, or at least I'm going to go through this very quickly. I'm going to point out things that to maximize your business development and sales activities. Frankly, you know, I know people keep talking about the new normal. I'm going to say that a lot of what I'm going to discuss here is exactly the things you should have been doing and hopefully are doing in the past, okay? That we're not talking about anything too new right here, but we're talking about things that you have to make sure you deploy exquisitely as we move forward. We can't do it all through social media, as I've been doing my own business development efforts and talking with people and connecting with clients and prospects, etc. Everyone wants more sales revenues from their existing customers. They want more new accounts. They want growth, but they're feeling a little bit hesitant. They're feeling a bit of insecurity about what lies ahead, what 2021 is going to bring them. And they feel like if they jump into that social media swimming pool and they post and they look at content and they do LinkedIn and all the social media platforms, they are going to be able to accomplish exactly what they want with probably spending less money than they might on some other sales endeavors. And I'm going to say, unfortunately, you can't do it all through social media. You have to deploy some other things to recognize the kind of revenue boost, sales results you want in the year ahead. So here are some success tips that you need to really be able to drill down on and own as you move forward into the following year. Number one, yes.
We're not seeing your screen.
You're not seeing my screen?
No.
Oh, I see my screen. You don't see my screen. Let's see. I'm sorry. How about now? See it now?
No, if you go down to share screen, I would just click it again on the Zoom.
Okay, let me escape and share screen on the Zoom, and I don't even, let's see. You know, if I can't do this.
We are getting some feedback that Okay, we're getting feedback that our attendees can see your screen.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry for the interruption.
No, I know
All
I was the
right.
same, so carry
Okay.
on.
All right. So hopefully everyone can still see it, and I'm going to go back to where I was interrupted. And that what makes you different and why should anyone care? We're all involved in selling our products and services, yet in many of the presentations I receive from resources that are interested in earning my business, okay, they are not necessarily getting to the point of what makes them different. So if I'm looking at other resources, other potential competitors of theirs, and they don't explain to me what makes them different, and in fact adds an improvement to my situation, they're going to lose my attention very, very quickly. So your differences must equate to an improvement in the customer situation. These are very, very simple. Okay, your product or service must help people save or make money, must help them save time, must give them peace of mind or convenience, must give them some confidence, status, or health. All of our products and services will provide one or more of those. Trust me, if you lean back and you think about your service, you think about your product, as esoteric as you may believe it to be, it does drill down to one of these core improvements, core benefits in the customer situation. And a great line to use when you're doing a presentation into the marketplace is, what makes us different is. And use this as an exercise. Sit back in your office, gather your team, virtually of course, and think about what are your core points of differentiation and what are the improvements that they provide to the customers that you want to win.
Adrienne, I apologize to interrupt you again, but we are still getting feedback that your screen isn't shared.
Okay, then I'm going to continue, and I'm going to
Okay.
out the PowerPoint because I
Okay,
don't
no
want to take
problem.
more time away. Trust me, they're real nice, pretty pictures here. I have no idea why you saw the screen and now you don't see the screen, and I see the screen and I press share. But whatever. Okay, point number 2, and seriously, guys, I'm happy to send the PowerPoint to anyone. Number 2, don't forget me. How do you stay on the grid with all the people you're meeting through these Zoom networking calls, through the prospects you have in your sales funnel, your referral sources that you met once upon a time, and you need to see if you can get referrals, introductions, and connections through them. Many people touch base, check in. They do it regularly, and some don't do it even regularly. But the fact is, if you're touching base and checking in a very short amount of time, you are perceived as somewhat of a pain in the butt because you're not adding value to the relationship before there's a relationship. It's so important to do that. Get people to see you as a resource before you're actually doing any billable work with them or get a referral from them, and you're much more likely to see them remember who you are. So you do this by utilizing a very handy little tool. It's called the 3 I's, and the first one is introductions. If you're seen as somebody who's a connection maker, if you proactively make introductions to people because they share business synergies or personal synergies, if they can see each other as referral sources or as possible pieces of business, you are going to be much more likely to have that person remember you as somebody who is very valuable to their business life. So the first one is introductions. The second one, invitations. For instance, you could have shared the word about the HIA trade show to your entire database. All the invitations you get for Zoom calls, for networking events, for all the things we're doing now to stay front and center, to stay busy and to keep building our business. are things you can be sending out, the same invitations that you receive, unless it's a closed event. You can press forward and send them to select people in your database with a little note that says, hey, this sounds like there's going to be a great speaker. This is going to be a good event. I've attended this group before. Stay in contact by inviting people to events that you're getting information about. The last one, of course, is information. On a personal note, I tend to use TED Talks a lot as a way for me to stay visible. I'll put in a keyword on the TED website, and I will share videos of really highly ranked speakers on topics of interest to the people that I'm sending the videos to. And sometimes it's a very general topic. There are speakers who will speak on things that all of us can relate to, all of us can find value from, and it's a way to get in touch with those prospects, with those referral sources, with your networking contacts, and stay visible to them, make them remember you without saying you're checking in, touching base, because obviously that is not adding value to their business or personal lives. And after you do that 1 or 2 times, they're no longer going to be interested in hearing from you. We're all very overwhelmed, busy, and trying to juggle all the things we have coming our way, add value to the relationship, and you will stand out. Proactive networking. Lots of people are networking now. I don't know how many networking Zooms you go to. I don't go to as many because I run a lot, but the fact is I am getting invited to 3, 4, 5 each and every day. And every once in a while I go to a networking event, and I've discovered that much the same as when networking was done face-to-face. A lot of networkers are incredibly reactive. They're waiting for someone to ask them, do you know, or someone to come to them and say, let's have a conversation. Being proactive, you've got to do these things. You need to make introductions, even when people aren't asking, do you know? Put people together, because they have natural alliances and synergies that they should be exploring together. You establish, a proactive networker establishes a networking goal for the number of connections you want to make per day, week, or month. I set a fairly high number. My database is very, very, very large and very full. Seems to me that if I just go into my database, I'm able to put people together proactively, because I can see they're working with the same type of market, but they don't do the same things. They should know each other, because they can introduce each other to companies that they're involved with, dormant accounts. They can introduce each other to networking resources that can help both of them, not just one of them, because in fact, they do different things. You continually look for synergies. I love one-to-one networking conversations because I'm always acquiring a new piece of information that enables me to make an introduction for the person. You don't BS or make excuses. I think that's true in all of life, but certainly in networking, people BS and make excuses for why they're not doing it. You're frequently referred to as a connector. If you are a proactive networker, if you are a doer, you are often referred to as a person who liberally puts people together, and you don't prejudge. You get a networking introduction and you don't immediately say to yourself, I don't know what good they're going to be for me. You don't prejudge them on the basis of the work they do, on the basis of their geography, but you're open and receptive to finding out about them and what you can do for each other. Networking has to be a win-win, and it is absolutely reciprocal. Being a good proactive networker means you're persistent. You don't give up. You understand you can't lose what you don't have. You understand that winning business or a good referral relationship can take months or even years, and you keep your eye on the goal. Persistence is a critical element of anyone who is good at anything. Certainly, business requires persistence and tenacity, and networking requires the very same skills. My last thoughts here are for you to set personal objectives and goals. Forget about your networking, but certainly for yourself, for sales. What are your personal objectives and goals, and quantify them? Do you want 3 new pieces of business in this 4th quarter? Are you looking to increase your revenue in 2021 by 10%, by 20%? Measure your progress on a daily basis. How are you actually putting things in place to help you accomplish that goal? If you measure it, you will be able to re-engineer if need be. I work with a lot of people, particularly solopreneurs, that don't deploy enough measurement tools to see really where they're at and to better understand how they should change things and when they should make those changes. They wait too long. We are in 4th quarter. It is almost a little too late to do too much to change up your 2020 revenue goals. Don't settle for anything less than excellence. Get rid of all the head trash that's going on right now, that people tell you you can't do it, you won't be able to do it. Just think positively and celebrate your successes. Boast about them if need be on social media, and really own your success and celebrate it. There's a lot of negative stuff going on right now. Celebration is definitely desired. There's a last screen that has a list of my websites, which you can't see, but I would like to point out one thing that's a special offer, and it is really important for you to know about it. And there's a website. It's paymewhatyouwant.com. It's exactly that. It's 1 hour of individual customized consulting on sales strategies or lead generation or content marketing or social media, business networking, or more. And we're not going to talk about rates or budget or anything. If you get value and you want to pay me, awesome, you can. If you don't, or your personal situations right now don't allow you to, that's fine too. 100%, it's fine too. So if you have an interest, it's again www.paymewhatyouwant.com. Happy to send you this PowerPoint. And there were some slides in there I didn't go through just because I got distracted from hearing that my presentation wasn't being shown. I apologize for that, but I'm going to hand the baton to Vic, who I have presented with many times over our history, and I'm sitting back looking eager to gather the information and knowledge I know he's going to share with us right now. So thank you guys, and I look forward to getting to connect with you individually at some point in the future.
Thank you, Adrian. That's phenomenal. And in case some of you don't know, Adrian Miller is a powerhouse, the networking community. She runs an organization called AISNet, or Adrian's Network. I am a member of Adrian's Network, and many of you may also be members. And if you are not, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you'll see my contact information. If you can get it from Adrian or from HIA, even better, but feel free to drop me a line as well. Adrian, are you able to see my screen by chance? If not, I'll ask Mariana to confirm.
Yes, yes.
You do see my screen, yeah, so that probably means the participants can as well. To be able to chat with each other, like other Zoom meetings, but you can put to you. So that's on the bottom of your screen. I'm sure you're used to some Zoom controls at this point after all these many months. So we're going to talk about some social media success. So I got a clock here to kind of keep live, and we will definitely wrap up by noon. Social media success steps, a little bit about my background. I was proud to co-chair 2 HIA committees many years ago when I wore a younger man's shoes or young man's clothes, however the lyric goes. So I am proud to be back presenting with the Hauppauge Industrial Association. Did many seminars for them at the trade show and did a whole bunch of wonderful things. So fond memories. I now live in Harlem in New York City, so I'm not as active in the Long Island business community. But back then, I was a columnist for Long Island Business News. I was a marketing columnist on their 40 Under 40 Rising Stars Award, again, before I had as much gray hair as I have now. And I'm the president of Practice Marketing, Inc. Everything I'm going to be telling you is stuff that we do for our clients, and it's literally what we do for our members and what we do internally. Here is my contact information. Feel free to write it down, connect with me on LinkedIn, pretty active there. Happy to answer your questions by email, by LinkedIn chat, and we can find ways to communicate. So while we can't really see your answers, or I can't really see your answers, maybe Adrian can, this is nonetheless a great exercise for you to kind of go through and think of for yourself. How do you get new clients? And you might want to just even think about it now. Many of you may be saying word of mouth referrals. And so Adrian touched on that, and we're going to bring that into the social media world. And then I want you to think about who are your best referral relationships? Where do you get those new clients from? Maybe it's your current clients, that's great, but there may be other allied professionals that bring you referrals. And how can we stimulate that? How can we propel that and boost that? And that's really where social media enables us to be effective and efficient with that type of networking and referral marketing. Cutting to the chase of what is going. So yeah, I will be able to I will get you the slides, very much so, and you'll get my LinkedIn info a little bit later. So thank you, Eileen. So feel free to chat that way as well. I'll be able to see it. I am going to go a little quickly because I don't want to go over time, and I tend to talk a little fast and passionately. So if there's anything that you can't catch, definitely shoot me an email. They will be on other slides, my email address, and shoot me an email and we can connect 100%. I want you to be able to get the slides, but even more importantly, be able to use this in your businesses, in your practices. So would your raving fans share your videos if you made it easy to do so? And the reason I asked that is to really think about where we are in the world of social media and kind of what happened so many years ago back in 2018. Facebook announced, Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, announced in 2018 that he was going to prioritize mobile and he was going to prioritize video. And that became pretty remarkable. Even before then, the world of video on the internet was already bubbling. It was really around 2006 that Google bought YouTube for over $1 billion, and they were mocked. That how could you possibly pay over $1 billion for essentially a whole bunch of people uploading videos, like home videos, home movies, and they weren't making any money. So it was seen as a silly venture, a silly adventure. And we fast forward now to where video has overtaken the internet. And what ended up happening in I would say 2017 is when Facebook announced that. 2018 is when LinkedIn followed Facebook and started prioritizing video. And that really took a dramatic effect on our type of clients. We work predominantly with professional practices. In fact, exclusively professional practices, predominantly law firms and accounting firms with a handful of consulting coaches as well. And when LinkedIn started prioritizing video posts, that started pushing up videos at the detriment of written articles. And so my company went from, interviewing clients over the telephone and turning what they say into written articles to now prioritizing video posts. And I'll show you literally what to do and how to do it now. So let me kind of go in. I want you to kind of gauge again for yourself where you are in the world of posting video blogs. Where are you in the world of posting video on social media? Some of you are pro presenters, meaning given a microphone, given a crowd, you're gonna rock it. And that's gonna be phenomenal. You're gonna be great on video if you haven't done it. It may take a little bit of practice to kind of get your bearings, but this is gonna be a very effective medium, especially with social media, the way the algorithms work. And we'll talk a little bit about that, a lot about that. Some of you may be what I call nervous newbies, very affectionately, where the idea of being on video, quite frankly, scares you, and it's the last thing you want to do. Well, you know, you're probably used to Zoom already and other type of video platforms. You may be even sick and tired of these type of video virtual meetings. So we're used to being on video. We're used to being in real time. We just may not be used to being recorded. And that, again, takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get the hang of it, and we'll talk about literally how that happens. The reason I tend to be very video-centric in my social media seminars nowadays is because of how the algorithms work. It's kind of cutting to the chase of what's the most effective. Nowadays, LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course, Instagram and TikTok being very video-centric, all these social media platforms are prioritizing video. They're prioritizing you uploading video directly to their platform, meaning not linking away from those platforms, sharing a YouTube video. Because think about it from their perspective, that's driving traffic away from their platform over to YouTube and Google. And ultimately, all these platforms make money through advertising. You know, there are other ways LinkedIn makes money, but primarily it's an advertising channel. It's basically you're forcing their visitors to switch channels. And that's not what they want. They want you to essentially to upload video. So will you get to a point of uploading the same video on multiple social media networks? Yeah, probably. Can you do other types of content in addition to video? Yeah, probably. Why we tend to focus on video nowadays is for that cascading effect that you're going to be able to get. First of all, you got to get with the video world. It's not going away. It's only increasing more. So you may as well start now to get good later. The first time you pick up any kind of skill or habit or talent, you're not going to be that great at it. The first time you pick up the guitar, or the first time you pick up the piano, or figuratively pick up the piano, first time you do anything from swimming to tennis to golf, you're not that great at it. And the only way to get good at it is by practicing. And so at least start practicing on video. You don't need to post it. But now that you have it on video, you can create a cascade waterfall effect of other types of content. For example, what we do at my company at Phone Blogger is transcribe it into text and then edit it into a finished article. Well, you can do the same thing by video. Once you have a video, you have the audio, and thus you can get it transcribed. There are resources that I can share with you one-on-one. One of the resources we use for transcription is called Rev, R-E-V, rev.com. I'm going to be sharing lots of websites and resources like that that are not in this PowerPoint, but I can get the PowerPoint to you nonetheless. So we use rev.com internally to transcribe when we use it at Phone Blogger. Nowadays with Video Socials, we have an internal transcription where Alexa is automated with our video marketing system. And I could show you what I mean one-on-one. Bottom line is once we have the audio, which could even be a podcast nowadays, can turn into text. Once you have the text, those are social media posts. There are tremendous advantages to the written word. It's a lot easier to skim and scan written articles. It's easier to quote and forward it, as opposed to video, where if you've ever done any kind of rewinding or fast forwarding on YouTube or even Netflix, they're a pain in the neck. There's all sorts of buffering issues. Then it's like out of context. You have no idea where and what they're saying. With written articles, a little bit different. You're able to get the gist a lot faster. However, video is a lot more engaging. I don't know why the movie version of the book ends up making more money. And while that may not always be the bar of success when it comes to business, making more money is the metric of success. And while maybe the book is better than the movie, regardless, the movie is making them more money from a business standpoint. My point to you is, even if you are writing articles now, well, here's an opportunity to now create a video version of your written articles. And it could even be kind of the infomercial selling the sizzle aspect where you can reference the written work in that 2 to 3 minute video. So we're not talking long videos. These are not the professionally produced videos that you need to do with multiple camera angles and B-roll and music. Nowadays, you pick up your phone, you probably have an HD, maybe even 4K video camera on your cell phone. You could probably do it even on your own. There are easier ways to do it that will a pro presenter or a newbie. There are a couple of things and issues of what keeps people from doing this, and we talked a little bit about some of it. Sometimes you may feel a little tongue-tied doing live recording, literally a Facebook Live or literally a LinkedIn Live if you have access to it. But with a little bit of practice and the way we help our members can get that practice, you could even do it yourself. With a little bit of practice, you'll get there. First 1 or 2 times may not be perfect, but then again, you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for being natural or genuine or authentic. I just call it natural, conversational. It's really the way you be in person, the way you would be with your clients or over a cup of coffee is the way you want to be on video. It doesn't need to be any more pizzazz than you typically are. Some people have a wonderful personality and a big personality, and that of course comes through. Sure, that pizzazz helps them tremendously. But you know what? Sometimes that's a turnoff. Sometimes it's a little bit too much, and you don't really click with people that's on all the time. And sometimes you may connect with someone who's a little bit more quieter and softer, and that's just the way she is, that's the way he is naturally. And that natural chemistry is really what we want to bring out on video. It's that type of character, that type of personality and persona that, quite honestly, we can't really get in the written article. You know, we can't really get that by just even a photo of you, but we get your passion. You know, there's that phrase, we don't care how much you know until we know how much you care. And that really comes through video even more than the written article can ever do. Now, maybe being in person is even better. The body language comes even more so. The tone comes out even more so. Right now, that may not be an option. Video is a proxy to being in person, and that may be kind of a second-rate proxy, but it's the best we got, number one. And then number two, I'll even say sometimes it's even more efficient than being in person. Heck, someone can share your video a lot more easily than sharing you in person. You can essentially scale yourself, so to speak, duplicate yourself on video, creating automation and efficiencies in your practice and your business that you simply can't do in person. That's kind of the reason why social media has taken off so much, is because we can now have multiple conversations with multiple people multiple times a day, which couldn't be feasible in a one-to-one real world scenario. So then you think about the tech stuff that may be holding you back. Nowadays, as I mentioned before, your camera on your cell phone is probably HD. If you have a laptop that's younger than 4 years old, that's probably HD as well. So I highly recommend using your laptop even more than your phone, unless you have a whole lot of gadgetry to keep your phone at eye level. If it's not on eye level, either way, it's a really bad look. But your laptop generally tends to be at eye, so you're able to make eye contact when you look into the black hole of a camera. That itself can be a little intimidating for many of us, which is why we come together in small groups. We call them video blogging clubs. So we're able to kind of look around the room and have a focus group and an audience, because that just makes it a little bit more fun and interesting, and we get to learn from one another. From a lighting perspective, yes, I would say it's very helpful to invest in those ring lights. I can send you links on Amazon or your retailer of choice. They're not very expensive nowadays. You don't really need a full lighting setup. If you're in a well-lit room, you can be pretty good to go without an external lighting setup. Nowadays, with the latest version of Zoom, if you go into your video settings, the manual lighting control that's built into the latest version of Zoom is fantastic. The latest version of Zoom has a lot of kind of fun, silly things like filters and frames, which, you know, I don't know, in the business context is really great. I'm not even a huge fan of their virtual background. I think that can be very wonky as things go in and out like your hair. But the lighting control now of Zoom is 100% fantastic. If you go into the lower left, you don't have to literally do it right now, but in the lower left-hand corner in the video settings, if In the general settings, you don't see anything around lighting. That means you don't have the latest version of Zoom. Go ahead and download it. Of course, it's free. Highly recommend it. It has made a tremendous difference. I actually don't have an external lighting for me. Right now, I don't need it. I'm in a very well window full room. But even at the evening hours, and we're getting into the winter months where unbelievably it gets dark around 4:30, and every time I think about that, I can't possibly be true, but here in New York, it is true. So by about 4 or 4:30, we're getting into dusk. At least we will be in about a month or two from now. You will need some type of lighting control, either external lighting or play with that built-in version of built-in feature that's in Zoom. Ultimately, it's a matter of time management and time to practice. You need to set aside time, like any other marketing, like any other good habit, you need to set aside time, especially if you don't really love this stuff. If the concept of sales and marketing success is something where it doesn't come naturally to you, all the more reason you need to put that big rock into your calendar. It's the #1 value our members and clients say to us, that it's the discipline, it's the habit making. We know that they're going to create their video content on a week basis and in their calendar. It would be great if you want to come check out how we can work together to plan that out together, but regardless, you need to fix it into your time. If you think you're just going to do it tomorrow, well, tomorrow never comes. It's always today. You'll be putting it off. It's going to be procrastination. I know, because going to the gym this afternoon is in my calendar because it doesn't come naturally to me. And if it's not in my calendar, it's not going to happen. It's not going to get done. So at the very least, you have an appointment with yourself. Even more effective when you have an appointment with someone else that can hold you accountable, get it done. Practicing leads to posting, which I'll talk more about in coming slides. Let's talk about topics. What are you going to be blogging about? I have a resource called blogbrainstormer.com. It's free. There's no opt-in. It's no, I'm not trying to bribe you with anything. Go to blogbrainstormer.com. If not literally right now, at the end of my talk, after you go to the virtual exhibit hall, go to blogbrainstormer.com. It's really easy to use. It's actually really fun to use. It's very mobile friendly. It's randomized, so every time you go there, you'll be shown a new set of topics off of which you can riff off and create themes and topics and titles. The part of blogbrainstormer.com that I like the best is you'll see when you get there, there's a blue strip on top. There's a print-friendly view. Even if you don't intend on printing, take a look at it. It's basically a Google Doc version of the website. It's one I actually use with my clients. It's a little bit better organized by category. The website itself is categorized, but it's hard to really even manage that. I like it where it's chunked out, where there are about 4 or 5 different sections, starting with the timely topics, because the more timely your topics are, the more relevant and resonant it will be with those who want to watch or read your content. We're all that way. Yes, we should be attending to the important things, as Covey would say, but we tend to attend to the urgent things naturally. And so we tend not to really think a whole lot about tax stuff unless we're on extension right now. Then maybe you're thinking about tax stuff right now. But let's say in a month from now, you're probably not going to think a whole lot about tax stuff until, let's say, another month of end of year, or March 15th or April 15th, etc. So we tend to be timetable driven. And the more timetable driven your topics can be, timely to your market, to your types of clients, the better your events will be. The more they will like it, literally clicking like, the more they will comment on it, the more they will share it. And I'll talk about sharing a little bit later as well. I remember Adrian ended her segment with the concept of tracking, that what you measure tends to improve, and what you don't measure is harder to improve. Tracking is tremendous. It's probably one aspect that most people don't do with their marketing, and it's actually the one aspect I love about online marketing, especially social media marketing. The metrics, the analytics are there. It's not just this fuzzy concept of branding, but rather we can literally see from hits and clicks and impressions and views and comments and replies and shares and forwards. These are things that are measurable, and these are things we can improve. So from a tracking perspective, everything I'm talking about, from video blogging in social media to anything on social media, is not just a random crapshoot. These are things that are measurable. And it doesn't take a whole lot of things to measure. If you literally right now put together a spreadsheet of where your referrals came from in this past year, literally by name, who they were, who referred that client to you, you can probably do that within a half hour, within an hour. And you can literally create this VIP referral circle spreadsheet. It's something we do with our clients to know, look, these are the 10 people that really made a difference last year. They referred you they referred you 2 cases. What can we do to take that 1 referral and make it into 2 referrals? That 2 cases, can we turn into 4 cases? And now we're essentially doubled your referrals. And it sounds very hyperbolic to say that you could double your referrals that way. But when you're getting a handful of referrals from a handful of people, it doesn't take a whole lot. And essentially, you're now arming them, you're giving them stuff to share with others. Because as we know in the networking world and in the referral world, we can benefit a lot by those reactive referrals. When people just randomly ask, hey, do you know anyone who does such and such? Hopefully they're mentioning our name. That's a reactive referral. How can we tap into the proactive referrals where people are raving about us, bragging about us, sharing us, even when other people are not asking for literally what we do because of timing, because of opportunity, because they're embarrassed. They don't want to ask because they seem vulnerable or that they seem less than what they should if they're asking for help, but indeed they actually do need what you do. But if someone shares it with them, they'll click the link and they'll take a look at it and they'll contact you. And that's essentially what this whole world of social media boils down to, is people sharing you proactively, you giving them the tools, the content for them to share you proactively. Video just makes it a heck of a lot easier because now they're able to kind of see you and get to know you. So what do we mean by posting it? So that's kind of the nitty gritty. So I'm just going to move some stuff that I have a whole bunch of. First of all, you have to think about where are your clients. You don't have to be on every platform all at once. Think about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is specifically B2B, to the point where it could be even boring because it's so B2B, that it's not the silly stuff or the fun stuff or the distracting stuff of Facebook. Facebook is more sticky and more catchy because it's talking about the small talk of life. So you may hate how much political or how much politics there are on Facebook. Well, you know what? That gets people jazzed up and riled up. So people get addicted to that, right or wrong. You may hate that people are constantly sharing the TMI stuff of their family and friends. Well, that's what Facebook's meant for. It's what Instagram and TikTok's meant for. It's social media. LinkedIn is meant for professional use. It's supposed to mimic what we do at our HIA committees. It's supposed to mimic what we do at our conferences. It doesn't have to be boring because these are colleagues. These are people that you hang out with in the real world, face-to-face, in person, and now you're doing it virtually, but they're nonetheless real people. These are your colleagues. So you're able to kind of see what they're doing in the professional world, and the more you like, comment, and share them, the more they'll like, comment, and share you. We'll get to that in a moment. Where are your clients? And quite frankly, your clients may be more in the Facebook, in the more Instagram world because you're more a B2C type professional. You may be in the hospitality world, you may be in the retail world, or maybe your type of clients are in those sectors. Well, they are on Facebook because their customers and clients are on Facebook, which basically forces you to be on Facebook because that's where they are, because they are there for their own marketing. Does that make sense? So even though you're B2B, your B of a client is on Facebook because they're there for their customers and clients. And so that behooves you to be on Facebook. We actually don't do a whole lot of Facebook marketing, as a company. However, I want you to be conscious of picking the platform that can be suited for your clientele, for your target market. And then comes where are your referral relationships. Perhaps your customers and clients are on Facebook, but your referral relationships are on LinkedIn. When it comes to video, don't forget YouTube. YouTube is a kind of the mother of it all. It's owned by Google, the #1 search engine. YouTube has actually become the second search engine. And while we're not really talking about search engine optimization, SEO here, nevertheless, people are going to be checking you out and Googling you, so you may as well use video, which is going to be part of the world of YouTube. Google has wanted to be in the world of social media for years now. They've been coming out with one quote unquote Facebook killer after another. Nothing has worked. They're still trying to turn YouTube into more of a community and more of a social media. For some of the YouTube creators and the people who make millions of dollars creating videos and blogging through YouTube, it is very much a community for them. For most of us, where we're using YouTube on a relatively small basis, maybe you're posting 1 video a month, that might be big for you. Maybe posting 2 videos a month would be even greater for you. Maybe you can't imagine posting a new video every single week to YouTube. Well, our members do that regularly. It might sound scary to you, but it's actually very easy to start doing that as a habit, and they're now unlocking that SEO, that search engine optimization aspect of Google and YouTube. Quite frankly, for our types of folks that we work with, attorneys and accountants, that SEO is not really random traffic. It's people checking them out. It's someone, puts you on a list of, hey, check them out, see, here are 3 names. You might want to do a little research, see who clicks for you, and they're going to start Googling you. They're going to start doing some due diligence and researching you. And if all those other people, if someone else on that short list is coming up with all these results where they're able to really do some window shopping and get to know them by video and get to know them by written articles, get to know them by social media and see mutual connections, well, there's a lot of knowing and liking and trusting there, that know, like, and trust aspect of sales and marketing, versus if you're absent, if they're crickets, or there's a copyright 2010 on your website, well, we don't really know what's going on here. And so it's a matter of understanding where you fit in so that you have a presence of legitimacy, credibility, modernity, and also being able to be a resource for your clients and referral relationships. Captions. 80% of the people who watch videos on social media platforms are watching videos on mute, meaning they can't hear what you say, which means they're probably not watching your video if they can't hear what you say. Basically means that there's some type of text on the screen guiding them with what you say. There's also an ADA compliance, a disability aspect of it, meaning those who can't hear what you say because of a disability or hard of hearing of some sort. There's an ADA aspect of compliance that's coming down the pike very soon. Very similar, if you know the world, that there's a lot of ADA compliance with websites, and hopefully your website is ADA compliant. Different topic for a different time. Very similarly, that world of video is coming. I don't want to say regardless of the law. I think that's very important and very good to be sensitive for those who have hearing issues. But from a marketing standpoint, it makes sense. You're able to reach people in the way they want to be reached. It makes marketing sense to be able to attend to a population that wants to do business with you, if only you have text on the screen. Adding captions to video is very, very simple. Nowadays, it's automated through a variety of platforms, including my own platform. So I'm happy to share with that one-on-one. Highly recommend it. Once you caption a video, you basically have the written article. So now you have a blog post as well out of the video. So highly recommend captions. As I mentioned a moment ago, sharing is caring. What you do to others, others will do to you. You know, that golden rule of karma. The more you share others, the more others will share you. I mean, ultimately, that's true in any kind of networking. The more you pay it forward, the more you connect others, the more others will connect you. The more you give to others, the more others will give to you. And so in terms of the world of social media and the world of content, as much as I've talked all this time around posting content, I want to actually shift gears a little bit and think about the 80-20 rule. And think about, for every one post you upload or you post on social media, I want you to like, comment, and share other people 5 times as many. It's actually a heck of a lot easier to click like, to click share, to click comment on somebody else's post than it is for you to do your own posting. It's kind of awkward to get anyone else to do it for you as an agency or a firm like mine, because we don't know the real relationship you have with that person. That person seems like a really good resource and relationship, but you know what? You really don't like that person, and that would be a huge faux pas if you did like or comment that person. That person looks like a competitor, so why would you ever? Well, no, actually, that's one of your biggest resources of referrals, because what you do is not actually in competition. It's actually your best resource. So don't get anyone else to do the easy work of liking, commenting, and sharing of your colleagues. Do it yourself. It's actually really easy once you have an app on your phone in the nooks and crannies of your day. It's a win-win-win. When someone shares your post, not only are you immediately shared with that person's circle of influence, that person now comes top of mind to his or her connections. What do I mean? So when you see someone else's video on LinkedIn, click share. That person's going to love you because you're sharing that person's video to your connections. Well, that's great. Well, now you come top of mind to your connections because you're sharing that person's video. LinkedIn, Facebook, all other social media, they like it, they prefer it when you post video above all other types of content. However, they love it when you share other people's video because that's the win-win-win. That's the interconnection. That's the engagement they want to see their users, their members doing. They don't really want drive-by posting. They don't want you posting and running. That doesn't help anyone. That's like walking into a room, throwing out, copies of your article and leaving the room. Like, what good did that do? That actually makes you even look worse. It's like those people who go to networking events, just hand out their business cards like they're playing poker. That's ridiculous. That's not the right way of networking. We know that. We want to have conversations one-on-one. It's a lot more efficient to just hand out and spam your business card to 100 people, but it's a lot more effective to have real conversations with just 10 people because that is going to be really productive. And those 10 people will introduce you to 10 more and outdo the drive-by networking that you do by just handing out your business card. It's the same thing when it comes to social media. Like what Adrian said, her principles are timeless. It happens offline, it happens online. Likewise, sharing is caring, win-win-win, share others. That should be your primary focus so that as you start posting, they're going to share you undoubtedly. Now, there are kind of tricks of the trade of knowing to @mention people and using hashtags. If you have no idea what I mean, we're going to run out of time, but you want to be able to @mention other people. The more you can include other people in your marketing, the better. The world of cross-promotion and networking are intertwined. The more you can reference others in your videos and your other type of content, the better. They're going to be more encouraged to share you because you're highlighting them, and inevitably, they're going to highlight you as well. Now, just to wrap up, I got a couple of minutes, so I'm checking the time. Don't forget your website, even though we're talking about social media success. These social media channels, use them as a channel of traffic to bring them back to your website. So everything you post on social of substance, like videos, blog posts, etc., should also be on your website. We kind of talked about the SEO advantage, the ADA, the word of mouth advantage, using videos and other social media feeds on your frequently asked questions. Use your website as the hub. I'm not a huge proponent of having your social media sites connected on your website. I don't want people getting off of your website the same way LinkedIn doesn't want people leaving their website. What you want to use the social media channels for on your website is enabling people to share your content and share your info on their social media. So you want your blog posts and you want really every page to have some type of a share button enabling your visitors, your clients and colleagues to share you on their social media to project you to others, not to go visit your LinkedIn or visit your Facebook. They got all the information on your website. I don't want them going anywhere. I want them shooting you an email or calling you and actually doing business with you. Don't send them elsewhere. Send them to the phone, send them to email so that you can have a direct communication with them. Speaking of email, more people check more email more times a day, even more than any other social media. You want social media success? Send out an email newsletter. You want social media success? Send out an email newsletter. If you want social media success, send out an email newsletter. More people check more email more times a day, whether you like it or not. You're drowning in email right now because it works. Collect email. Check your email signature. Does it have a way for people to get to know your video blog? You don't have to send them to every one of your social media channels. Your email newsletter is a way for you to capture their contact information. If your website right now isn't capturing email addresses, you have no real direct communication. The only exception I'll say is if you have a chat box, not a bot, but a box. At least there you can capture their email address and actually have a real-time communication. If you go to videosocials.net and you type something into the chat box in the lower right-hand corner, it comes straight to my phone. And we're gonna have a conversation in real time. You're like texting, essentially, and that's awesome. And eventually, my goal is for that to be really annoying and for someone else to answer all those text messages. But for now, go to videosocials.net, drop me a note, and that's the easiest way to get a hold of me, let alone LinkedIn or even email. But I want to capture your email address even through that chat box because that's the one-on-one communication I want to have. The whole world of retail is location, location, location. The whole world of websites is forms, forms, forms. Likewise, with social media, you're driving them back to some place where you can have a one-on-one conversation. They kind of take it offline, kind of like what Adrian said. Social media is great, But it's not enough, and it's not the panacea. You actually want to have that one-on-one conversation, back to old school. That's really what works. And I'll kind of wrap it up there, where you kind of bringing it full circle. There's a little bit about what my company does with video socials. I'd love for you to come on as a guest and really experience what we're doing at Video Blogging Clubs. But more on that later. Hopefully we can chat one-on-one. I know I went a little fast. I know there's a lot more to it. I'm sure you have questions. Shoot me an email, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions one-on-one, and I'll get these slides to you. Thank you so much, Adrian. It's a pleasure to present with you again at HIA. And thank you, Ariana, for putting this together.
Vikram, we just have a couple questions.
Yeah. Try to stop share and try to get to those questions.
Oh, so one person just asked if you could share your LinkedIn info again.
Yeah, sure. Let me actually, what I'll do is I'll try to share that screen. And I'll get to that page. So, sorry, this is going to be annoying for you to look at. Here we go. So someone asked for topics, blogbrainstormer.com, blogbrainstormer.com. Happy to shoot a link to you if you connect with me by email or LinkedIn.
And another question came in from Kevin, best app to translate audio to text.
Yeah, so you probably mean transcribe, right? Translate different languages. Transcribe, we use rev.com, rev.com. I don't get any money from them. We just use them. They're great. Nowadays, we do it internally at Video Socials. We now, we're programming partners with YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. Likewise, we're programming partners with Alexa. So Alexa basically transcribes our members' videos. But for general purpose use, rev.com is great. Thank you, Cindy.
Great. Okay, I think that's all the questions we have.
And thank you, Vicki, for asking your question. Likewise, Kevin.
I have added for all of you, I have added in the chat, you could click right there. It'll bring you right over to our virtual exhibit hall. If you haven't checked it out yet, please take the time and go check it out. It's great. We have a lot of great exhibitors there who've put a lot of hard work into creating their booths for you. So definitely check that out. And thank you, Adrian.
And that's in the chat, right? So
yes, that's in the chat.
People can see the chat for the virtual hall.
Yep. Yep, the link is right there. You could click it, it'll bring you right.
And click it now, even if you want to go to it later on in the afternoon, because when we shut this down, you're going to lose access to the chat. So just keep it in another tab so you have it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Vikram.
Sorry, that was terrible.
Oh, no, don't worry. You did
I gotta
fantastic.
run. I have a 12 o'clock. Thank you.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Great, guys.